the game is to dish it out and not take it. And then when your career is over, take your money. These people don't give a f about these people don't give a f about us.
Oh man, you know how I get. They love you and then they hate you.
See me, they don't like me because I'm a straight shooter, and I was able to become my own boss.
Floyd Mayweather has revealed why he thinks that Gervonta Davis's career is over. He also disclosed that he had warned Davis about the realities of boxing. Mayweather also emphasized that fighters must plan for life beyond the ring.
Box, turn. The name of the game is boxing. The name of the game is not slugging, because when the fight game is over, when boxing is all over, and you hang it up like me, you still want to be able to have your faculties. You still want to be able to have your brain. That's more important than anything. The money. Your health is more important than anything. The name of the game is to hit and not get hit. And I was the best at doing it, and I'm going to continue to teach these young fighters. The name of the game is to...
Gervonta Davis has consistently found himself in various troubles, whether it be legal issues or personal conflicts. Throughout his career, he has faced multiple arrests and legal battles, making headlines for incidents outside the ring. Additionally, Davis has had personal disagreements with figures in the boxing world, including Floyd Mayweather. His public feuds and controversies have often overshadowed his in-ring accomplishments, leading many to question his discipline and decision-making. Despite being one of the most talented boxers of his generation, his off-ring troubles have been a recurring theme that has raised concerns about his long-term success.
Recently, Tank Davis decided to upload this on his Instagram. Not sure what's wrong with Tank Davis. I don't know what legal issues he's having because he has a hearing close. I'm not sure when the date is, but him and Floyd Mayweather have always had this weird relationship where sometimes Tank doesn't seem to be in good terms, and then sometimes they are in good terms. The energy is off. Let me know what you guys think that post means, what he's going through. I hope he's doing good, because we want him to fight, and we want him to fight really good opposition. So let me know what you guys think. What's going on with Tank?
Davis leaving Floyd Mayweather's promotion was one of the most debated decisions of his career. While gaining control over his own career may have seemed like a smart move, many argue that Mayweather's experience and guidance could have helped Davis navigate the boxing world better. Mayweather, being a legend of the sport, understood the business side of boxing and had successfully built his empire.
You know, so I don't want Tank to necessarily leave Mayweather. I think he's in this position because of everything that Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe have done for him. So I do want him to do what he is saying. Take control of your career. Say that you want Shakur and actually fight Shakur. Say that you want Devin and actually fight Devin. You know, fight these guys. Don't keep making new names. Like, you gave Barrios a chance. You gave Isaac a chance. Like, you know, Gamboa, like, those aren't the fights that we want.
In 2024, Gervonta Davis reached new heights in his career. His performances inside the ring captivated fans, and his popularity soared to unprecedented levels. He was considered one of the most dominant fighters in his division, with an unbeaten record that solidified his position as a top-tier boxer. Pay-per-view numbers were strong, and his star power was undeniable.
Stand on its own. As of 2024, the brand of Tank Davis is one of the most commercially and financially successful ones in all of boxing, standing shoulder to shoulder with Saul Canelo Alvarez. It's so successful, in fact, that a lot of people say that Tank's popularity outranks his actual achievements, pointing to several different instances where it seemed like Tank was avoiding the best competition in his weight class and getting preferential treatment based on who he is and who he's associated with.
Despite his success, Davis has faced criticism from certain boxing analysts and fans. Some argue that he is overrated, especially among casual fans who may not fully understand the technical aspects of the sport. His knockout power and flashy style have drawn admiration, but skeptics point out that he has not consistently faced the best competition in his division. Many believe that his record is impressive on paper, but lacks true challenges against top-tier opponents, making his dominance somewhat misleading.
He said Tank,
he's still on the air?
He said Tank is...
Hey, yo, they did Max Kellerman dirty for real, but go ahead, bro.
He said Tank is overrated by people that don't know boxing, and he's underrated by people that do know boxing. And what he
That's
meant,
buzz.
What he meant by that
That's
is
buzz.
that-
I agree with that.
What he meant by that is that if you don't know boxing, you don't know who's Tank is.
Major criticism surrounding Davis is the quality of his opponents. Analysts suggest that his team has carefully selected fights that favor him, avoiding the most dangerous competitors. While this is a common strategy in boxing to protect a fighter's marketability, it has led to questions about whether Davis is truly being tested at the highest level. Fans have been eager to see him take on tougher matchups, but so far, many believe his resume lacks defining wins against the best fighters in his division.
Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the most overrated fighters in the sport of boxing right now, and not because of his skills, but because of his resume, and resume does matter. In my opinion, he's a victim of what I call Terrence Crawford syndrome, where you have a really bad promoter who only wants you to fight in promotion fighters who you know that they can 100% beat. If Tank Davis wants to be great, he's going to have to fight one of the other champions in the two divisions that he fights in, 135 pounds and 140 pounds. I'm going to list off all the champions in those divisions and tell you if I think he can beat them or not. So first we got the only other full champion in 135 pounds, Shakur Stevenson. If they fought, I think Tank has a good chance of maybe knocking him out in the later rounds. But if I had to bet my house on it, I would say Shakur Stevenson would beat him in a close decision, and it would end up probably being a boring fight. But I think Shakur has the skills to beat Tank Davis over a long 12-round fight. Now we have Subriel Matias, who's a scary Terminator-like fighter who gives up the early rounds to come on later and drown you in those later rounds. But he's very stiff, and he doesn't have very good footwork at all. I think Tank Davis will probably, box his face off for most of the 12 rounds. There might be some trouble in the late rounds. But if Tank can stay out of trouble, I think this is one of the few champions that he would beat, but I don't think he would fight him.
After his fight against Lamont Roach, Davis faced intense criticism for not securing a knockout. Roach moved up in weight to fight Davis, and many expected Tank to dominate him. However, the fact that Roach was able to go the distance and make the fight competitive raised doubts about Davis's performance. Critics pointed out that a true elite fighter should have been able to stop a smaller opponent, and this fight exposed some weaknesses in Davis's abilities.
For me, Tank Davis fighting a minus 1600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming. Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis as champion. You ever see guys getting the referee their own fight? Dude, anybody else takes that knee, you're getting counted, bro. The referee, actually, his instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the timekeeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout. Earlier in the fight, if you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics we're dealing with. You keep doing this, you're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction of a sport.
Ryan Garcia, a fellow lightweight star, weighed in on Davis's controversial 9th-round moment against Lamont Roach. Garcia argued that Davis taking a knee should have been ruled a knockdown, as per boxing rules. His comments added more fuel to the debate over the fight's officiating and whether Davis benefited from a favorable ruling. This incident further intensified the demand for a rematch, with many believing that the fight's result was influenced by questionable judgment calls.
The knockdown with Tank.
That was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
Well, they said
and that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank and I like Tank a lot. But you can't do that shit.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right, to keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like if you're gonna do it to me, you got to do it to everybody.
Following his fight against Roach, many fans began to question whether Davis is as skilled as he is often portrayed. Seeing a relatively lesser-known fighter challenge him raised concerns about his preparedness and ability to handle top competition. Fans expected him to dominate, but instead, they witnessed a competitive fight that exposed possible weaknesses in Davis's game.
So Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach goes to a majority decision draw, with Tank retaining his WBA lightweight title. Now, I did not score this fight a draw. I had it 7-5 to Lamont Roach. I thought he had the ring generalship and effective pressure. He was landing the jab and effective combinations. Tank, as usual, had a very low output, and and he was relying on one big shot. You know, I gave Roach the first 3 rounds, Tank the next 3 rounds, and then Roach for the last 6 rounds to win the fight. Not to mention, Tank did take a knee in the middle of the fight. You know, by rule, that should have been considered a knockdown. Yes, it was to get his mouthpiece, and that's why they didn't rule it a knockdown. But anytime a fighter takes a knee, that's a knockdown. And that would have given Roach 1 more point to win the fight. Now, I'm sure they'll run it back. I mean, Lamar Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. He just had the fight of his life. He wasn't scared to go toe-to-toe with Tank. You know, landing his combinations, the bigger counters, and the more effective shots. He definitely deserves a second payday. Now, in the co-main event, Gary Antoine Russell put on an amazing performance. I think he won 11 or 12 rounds against Raya Valenzuela. Great hand speed, good combinations, you know, masterclass to win the WBA title. And then in the featured bout, Alberto Puello beat Sandor Martin to retain his WBC title. He landed the cleaner left hands, definitely won the last 2 to 3 rounds to edge the fight. But overall, good card. I do think Roach won the fight though.
During his fight against Roach, Davis was seen shouting at his coach, Calvin Ford, in the corner. As Ford attempted to wipe sweat from his face and offer instructions, Davis interrupted, saying, "You gotta stop and listen to me." This exchange raised concerns about Davis's mindset and his ability to take direction, a crucial role in shaping his career, so this moment suggested tension between them. Such incidents can be alarming, as a boxer-coach relationship is vital to success in the sport.
Well-being as well as your boxing progress, who you have been invested with from the outset. Tank has been with Coach Calvin Ford since he was, I think 8 or 9, which is crazy. And the relationship that those two have is an enormous factor. Tank trusts Coach Calvin to give him the right advice, and that has been proven to be a good position, a good place to put your trust, because as of yet, he hasn't given any bad advice. He's very calm in the corner. He knows when to tell Tank to turn it up. He gives him understandable advice, and he gives him very simple advice in the corner. At the gym, he obviously works him hard. He gets the best out of him, and I think that's the kind of thing that you can't oversell the value of that. You know, Bomac for Crawford is an example of this.
If Davis continues to disregard his team's advice, it could negatively impact his future performances.
My journey's crazy. That's why I said that. I said, yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, and all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at today. You know, that Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do, take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way fight.
The pressure of fame and constant public scrutiny has deeply affected Gervonta Davis. He has shown signs of frustration, becoming more outspoken and aggressive in recent months. Davis has repeatedly expressed his desire to step away from boxing, stressing that he needs time to relax and focus on his mental well-being, possibly through therapy.
Why are you retiring?
What trash?
What changed? What made you?
This shit is trash, garbage. I don't care about belts and I don't care about that stuff. I don't care about none of that. That's why I don't want boxing anymore.
Then you start losing your love for boxing. What happened?
I want to do therapy, right? It will lose the fire that I have inside me.
Adrien Broner has revealed that he played a key role in Davis's early career. Broner stated that he was the reason Floyd Mayweather decided to sign Davis to his promotional company. This revelation sheds light on how Davis's career was initially shaped by powerful figures in the sport. While Davis has since moved on from Mayweather Promotions, his early exposure to elite fighters and trainers undoubtedly helped him rise to prominence.
I'm the reason he got signed to TNT.
That's a true story.
Explain that. Why? How did that happen?
Story.
I brought him to the gym with an AB shirt on.
Ooh, true story.
But I didn't have everything right yet. You know, everything wasn't moving yet. You know, I was a little slow on my feet. So I gave him the floor. Every time we bring it up, Floyd like, "Thank you, AB. You gave me a good one."
And I just want to say thank you to Adrien Broner, because Adrien Broner brought Tank back to me. I met him when he was a kid, but then Adrien Broner, I want to say thank you to Adrien, because Adrien is the one that brought Tank to me.
Despite his departure from Mayweather Promotions, Davis has expressed gratitude for what Floyd did for him. He acknowledged that without Mayweather's guidance, he would not have reached his current level of success. This statement shows that, despite their differences, Davis recognizes the impact Floyd had on his career.
I respect him. And I won't say I respect him. I appreciate him. I appreciate him for what he done, because he did, he did help me out. He definitely helped me out, but it was more so like, he would say that he gave me money to get my mom out the hood, but me being from the hood, 10, 15,000, that's not, after a couple months, she gonna be back in the hood, and I'm gonna be back asking you for money. Nah, why would I do that? I give her a couple dollars. I take some, whatever, whenever you need some money. You feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get her out the hood, that's what I did.
I had to learn that coming up, that a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But to somebody to understand, you understand what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Cause if I gotta put you in a position that always need me, you always gotta, I'm gonna just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. If I'm a billionaire, if I'm a millionaire, nigga, what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot. And I know you gonna go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that, $48 of plot power, I'm gonna always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really, it's put me in a position to be able to, make my own thing. And I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. The people that's over top of me, I was signed to him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person that, he said, okay, cool, I see what's going on. That's when you start taking over my career.
However, their relationship remains complicated, as Davis has also accused Floyd of not wanting any fighter to surpass him. This dynamic between mentor and protege adds another layer to Davis's career story, as he continues to navigate the boxing world on his own terms.
First of all, Floyd don't never want to see no one a fighter do better than them. How the say Terrence Crawford should fight Benavidez? That don't make no fucking sense. He don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you.
Who's next in line? Just so you're next in line.
Is there
the last question, guys?
Is there a love-hate for Floyd though?
Yeah, I love the fighter. I ain't gonna lie, if he was chill, he'll be the smoothest. But he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad.
You're good, man.
And because I don't want to say he's just a scumbag, but it's he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's always I'm this.
Gervonta Davis has hinted that he does not plan to fight for much longer. He has spoken openly about the toll that fame and constant pressure have taken on him. With his growing frustrations and controversies, retirement may come sooner than expected. If Davis leaves the sport early, it will leave many questions unanswered about his true potential. After his fight against Roach, Gervonta Davis faced heavy criticism from his own fans for his underwhelming performance. In response, Davis said, "It's what it is. They love you and then they hate you." This highlights his awareness of how quickly public perception can change. He has also admitted that he knows fame doesn't last forever, and has hinted at retiring soon.
Damn, why y'all booing like I'm saying bullshit? This is real facts. Come on, man. Look at my hair. I just got my shit done. But it's all cool, man. You know how I get. They love you and then they hate you. Turn around there and love you again. You know what I mean?
Davis understands that fans can be fickle, praising him in victory, but turning against him when he struggles. This realization may be influencing his recent comments about stepping away from boxing sooner rather than later.
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't really trying to be in this too much longer. That's the answer right there for you.
How old are you now? 28?
28.
Yeah. How much longer are you expecting to do it?
Once I get them guys out of there, I'm gone.
Is that right? Let's say 30-ish, something like that? Why do you want to get out so soon?
I want to just help people that's coming behind me. I feel as though that's more important. Future.
Is that why you got Lamont Peterson and Anthony on this card?
They was before me, but they're trying to do my good deeds. I feel as though it's something that's installed in me. There's loyalty. feel as though that's something that people missing out here. I feel as though if you're in a position to help somebody, help them for the right reason.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.